Hi, it's Walter Burns from Keller Williams City Life Realty and livingonthehudson.com for this week's Living on the Hudson weekly recap. Taking a look at the market over the past week, linked down below here on YouTube, you will find the market snapshot, which is the inventory levels for available properties in all the waterfront communities between downtown Jersey City, Hoboken, Weehawken, West New York, North Bergen, and Guttenberg. So moving up the Hudson River, you can see how many properties are currently for sale, what it was like last week, and then the absorption rates, the pace at which each market is selling, how many properties went under contract in the past 30 days, the months of supply, and finally, year to date, how many properties have sold in each of those markets. So that's linked down below here on YouTube. As far as news articles over the past week, mortgage demand has jumped. I saw this article on CNBC. Highest level in 3 years. Interest rates have gone down. The Federal Reserve is meeting this coming week, and the market is anticipating a rate cut. However, I have talked to several mortgage brokers who have told me that any sort of rate adjustment has already been baked into most mortgage rates. So I don't think you're going to see rates come down that much in the next week. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. One thing that many people say to me is, the Federal Reserve is lowering the rate. That means the mortgage rate should go down. And the mortgage rate is more tied to the 10-year bond. So if you want to follow mortgage rates, my recommendation is to follow the 10-year bond. If you go on CNBC and go to bonds, you could see the 10-year. And right now that's at 4.068. It's up slightly as I'm recording this. But if you follow that, if that drops, then mortgage rates should start to drop. If that increases, if the bond market increases the rate of the 10-year, then mortgage rates may go back up. So that's my recommendation. If you're trying to lock in a rate or trending or studying rates, look at the 10-year bond. So that's linked down below here on YouTube. Looking at the market over the past week, there have been 96 properties that have gone under contract in the past week in the Hudson County Multiple Listing Service. That is up slightly from last week. Last week it was 89. These properties had an average list price of $862,000 and a median list price of $705,000. Last week the average was $796. So we're up from last week, and the median was $650. So properties that went under contract are more expensive this week than they were last week on average. Days on the market, 45 days in the market was the average. Median time on the market was 25. Last week it was 49 days and 33 was the median, so about the same. Looking through the list, a couple places that stood out to me that went under contract. In Hoboken, you had a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath at 1125 Maxwell Lane, unit 1021 on the market 3 days. This is a 1-bed, 1.5 bath, 895 square feet. List price was $1,050,000. Also came with parking for one car. This is located in phase 2 of Maxwell Place. Maxwell Place built over 4 different phases. This is phase 2, 1125 Maxwell, which is the largest of the 4 buildings. And here you have a 1-bedroom. It looks like it overlooks the courtyard from what I could tell. Built around 2008 was this building. Has a 24-hour concierge. Has 2 lobbies, one on the 11th Street side and one on the 12th Street side of the building. As I mentioned, 24-hour tenant lobbies on both lobbies. On-site fitness center, outdoor pool, residence lounge, theater room, screening room. So all on site in this building. You also have shuttle to and from Hoboken Path. And this has gone under contract at Maxwell Place on the market 3 days. List price $1,050,000. Also in Hoboken, actually moving into downtown Jersey City, you have a 1-bedroom at the A building, 389 Washington Street, unit 11H. This is a 1-bed, 1-bath, 756 square feet. List price was $750,000. On the market 63 days. Also came with parking for one car. The A building is located on the corner of 2nd and Washington. right near the Portofino, not far from the light rail. It was built around 2006. So this is an east-facing unit looking east towards New York. Across the street here is the Portofino, and this building here is Crystal Point. And then tucked to the far left is Mandalay. So right on 2nd Street. Building is a 24-hour attended lobby, concierge, elevator building. They have an on-site fitness center, residence lounge. I think there's a children's playroom there as well. And they also have a very large like outdoor sun deck area with barbecues, which is actually the roof of the parking deck. So it also has on-site parking. And located not far from Grove Street Path, and also it's kind of equidistance from Grove Street, Newport, and Exchange Place. And this has gone under contract at the A building, 389 Washington, 11H. List price $750,000. And when these properties do close and formally sell, and we'll find out, that's when we find out what they ended up selling for. And in a few minutes, I'm going to go through some sales with you of some properties that recently closed. Not far from the A building, you have 151 Bay Street. This is Toll Brothers' latest building in the area. The technical address is 155 Bay, 2303 was the unit number. This is a 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,199 square foot unit. List price was $1,589,000. On the market 68 days. So this is Toll Brothers' latest building in the Powerhouse Arts District. They also built 10 Provo Street, which is right across the street from this building. And they were also joint venture partners in another rental building in the area that's in that same vicinity. But you have, this is a new construction high-rise, a large amenity-driven building. So you have a large outdoor pool, 24-hour concierge, large residence or lounge area. There's multiple residence lounges in the building, large fitness center, game room, children's play area. So very high amenity-driven building. Toll Brothers always puts a lot of amenities in their buildings. And here you have an east-facing 2-bedroom looking towards New York here. So this building, there's a lot of future development that's going to happen nearby this building. So they're not really marketing it as a view building with New York City views, although this unit looks like you do have some view of the Hudson River and some buildings in New York. Don't know if those are going to keep in the future or remain, I should say, but you could check out the view as it is right now. And when I say future development, like you have a big piece of property here that's off of Washington Street that hasn't been developed yet, along with several other lots that are off camera here that may impact the view. So Jersey City, a lot of future development, so it's very hard to guarantee views in the future. And you can see here in this one shot, there's a building going up right here. And that is the former Bed Bath & Beyond site by Newport Center Mall. That's a high-rise, and you have more high-rises coming into that neighborhood in the next few years. So the skyline will definitely change in Jersey City over the next decade. So that has gone under contract, 2-bed, 2-bath at 151 Bay. List price $1,589,000. Also downtown Jersey City, 99 Hudson Street. This is the tallest building in the skyline. 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,285 square feet, unit 6606. So it's on the 66th floor. The building is about 75 stories tall. List price was $1,960,000. So 99 Hudson, largest residential building in the area. The 2 bedrooms there all face New York City, so they all face east. The 1 bedrooms are on the west side of the building, so they do have some views in New York, but most of the 2 bedrooms that face east have New York City views. And this is a high floor unit, so you're going to have like sweeping New York City views looking right at Lower Manhattan. Very high amenity driven building. So you have 24-hour concierge, outdoor pool, very large fitness center and residence lounge. There's a virtual golf, there's a game room, so library, very high amenity driven building. On-site parking, the 2 bedrooms come with parking. The parking for 1 bedroom is not guaranteed, although I think you can rent it from some owners in the building. So there are more units in the building than there are parking spaces. So some people who bought studios or 1 bedrooms may not be able to park in the building, but there are several rental garages nearby if you had a car. So this is the lobby. So 99 Hudson, that has gone under contract. List price at $1,960,000. Moving a little further north, up in West New York, you have Grandview number 2. This is 20 Ave at Port Imperial, unit 217. This is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1848 square foot unit. List price was $1,195,000. On the market 2 months. Also came with parking for 1 car. This was developed by K. So K. developed several buildings in this Port Imperial section of West New York. They include Grandview number 1, which is next door to this building, which is building 22 Avenue of Port Imperial. Grandview number 2, which is building 20, and 9 on the Hudson, which is 9 Ave at Port Imperial, which is behind this building. So, and they actually own future sites there that they recently sold to Toll Brothers. So, but K. built several buildings in this neighborhood. And this was built around 2007, 2006. 24-hour concierge, there's an outdoor pool, there's a fitness center, residence lounge area, on-site management. And in this Port Imperial section, you also have a lot of retail as well. So there's a Starbucks, there's a bunch of restaurants and bakeries. Acme Supermarket is there. So you have restaurants. You don't have to go far unless you want to. You don't need a car if you live here because you're not far from the ferry to New York, the bus to New York, and the light rail. And shopping is nearby. Most people do have vehicles just because of the drive-in, drive-out nature of River Road. But you don't have to go far if you want to do those activities. And this has gone under contract, this 3-bed, 2-bath at Grandview number 2, list price $1,195,000. Also up in Bulls Ferry, Jacobs Ferry, you have 293 Roslyn Court. This is a 3-bed, 2.5-bath, 1872 square foot townhome. Also came with parking for 2 cars. In this community, the townhomes have 1 car parking in the garage and 1 car driveway spot. This community was also built by K. the developer, and this was built between like 1992 up to 2000. So 293 Roslyn Court, list price was $1,195,000. And as I mentioned in the past, the community is located about 70% in the town of West New York, and about 30% of the community is in Guttenberg. You do not know the difference between one town over the next. You'll never know you entered one town over the next. But basically, the community was built in 2 separate towns along the Hudson River waterfront. There's from an amenity perspective, the complex is limited. They have a shuttle that runs to and from the path, to and from the New York Waterway Ferry in Weehawken, and that is actually sponsored by the ferry terminal people. So it's not owned by the association, but the bus does pass through the community. It runs with the ferry schedule. The bus right across the street on River Road also goes to New York from New Jersey Transit. Inside the complex, it's partially gated. One section has a gate. There is security that goes through, and also 2 outdoor pools. I've had questions about residence lounges, fitness centers. They do not have that in this community. What they do offer is the units are large. So if you're looking for square footage, 3, 4, 5 bedroom layouts, they do offer those. This is one of the main townhome communities in the Hudson County area. It's really the only one along the Hudson River waterfront on a major scale. Edgewater has some townhomes, a couple smaller communities. The other major townhome complex, meaning like large amount of units, 400, 500, 600, is actually in Jersey City, in the West Bergen side of Jersey City, called Society Hill, which is not on the Hudson River. It's on the Newark Bay side. But this property under contract over at Bulls Ferry, Jacobs Ferry, and you can see here how the townhomes look. There's about 10, 12 different layouts in the complex. And this is the 1872 square foot layout, 3-bed, 2.5-bath. On the market a month, list price $1,195,000. A couple things that sold in Hoboken: 1400 Hudson Street, unit 730. I don't have interior photos. However, this was a Toll Brothers building on the corner of 15th and Hudson Street, built about 7, 8 years ago now. And here you have a 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,213 square foot unit. It sold for $1,700,000 on the market a month. Looks like it was a cash offer. The list price was $1,700,000. It sold for full price, $1,700,000. 2-bed, 2-bath at 1400 Hudson Street. In downtown Jersey City, I previously spoke about 99 Hudson, that 2-bedroom that went under contract. Here's a studio that's sold. So you have a studio layout, 474 square feet, unit 601. List price was $565. It sold for $560, 23 days on the market. The studios in this building are actually on the west side of the lot. They're on the basically on Washington and Green Street. Excuse me. They're on the corner of Green and it's eluding me now, the cross street, but they're on the back side of the building. And that sold for $560 at 99 Hudson. I previously spoke about the A building, a 1-bedroom going under contract. Here's a 1-bedroom that closed. This is unit 30C at 389 Washington. List price was $579. It sold for $579 on the market 11 days. So the previous unit that went under contract faced New York. That was an east-facing unit. This is a western-facing unit, meaning looking into Jersey City, does not have New York City views. So it looks west. Grove Street Path is over here. And that sold for $579. And the other unit was listed, I believe, at $750. So it was also a larger unit, but generally speaking, you could see the price difference between a view home versus a non-view New York, meaning New York City view. New York City view versus non-New York City view. It can be upwards of 30% of the value from my experience. Over in Hamilton Park, downtown Jersey City, 299 Pavonia Ave, Unit 3-10. This is the Wells Fargo Loft Building. This is a former horse stable from the 1800s that housed the Wells Fargo carriages that would transport money across the country from branch to branch. You see that in the Wells Fargo logo. Well, this is one of the buildings where they actually housed those carriages and horses way back in the day. It was converted into residential apartments in the 1980s. And they're loft units. When people ask me, I want to buy a real loft, this is one of the main buildings in Jersey City that offers loft-like spaces. And here you have a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 7,000 square foot property. So very large unit. List price was $2,450,000. It sold for $2,375,000. Very unique building. There's around 30 units in the building. Every unit there is different. So very high ceilings. Many of the units, the bedrooms are like either lofted spaces, where meaning the bedroom was built, lifted above the living room, or like little private nook areas. So it is really an industrial loft space. And like I said, every unit there is different. Building has a virtual concierge. It is an elevator building. And you can see here, it looks like you have one room over here, another one over here, probably up here, they're counting a bedroom. And this is sold for $2,375,000 at the Wells Fargo building, 299 Pavonia Avenue. I previously spoke about Jacobs Ferry, Bulls Ferry. Here's a unit that actually closed, 235 Price Court. It's a 4-bed, 2.5-bath, 2,268 square foot townhome. List price was $1,165,000, and it sold for $1,160,000. So this is a different layout in Bulls Ferry, Jacobs Ferry, than the previous property I talked about that went under contract. This is larger. And this is over 4 floors. And you also have parking for 2 cars, 1 car in the garage and 1 driveway spot. And this townhome has sold for $1,160,000, just about $5,000 under asking, over at 235 Price Court. And finally, over at the Watermark, this is a 2-bed, 2-bath, first floor unit, unit 107. List price was $799. It sold for $799. on the market 41 days. Also came with parking for 2 cars. 8100 River Road, the Watermark, built by WCI Communities around 2007. 24-hour concierge doorman building. They have a lot of amenities, indoor pool and outdoor pool, very large fitness center to over 2 levels. You also have guest suites. If you're a resident in the building, there's actually hotel room suites that could be rented out on a nightly basis for guests. I believe there's 2 of them on the first floor. The association does charge for them, but you can reserve them. So if you have someone staying over your house and you don't want them staying with you, you can reserve the guest suite, which is like a hotel room. And this property has sold over at the Watermark for $799,000, 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,588 square feet. Link down below here on YouTube will be the news article from CNBC, as well as the market snapshot. These videos come out every Monday discussing the Hudson County real estate market. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me anytime at walter@livingonthehudson.com or at 347-448-3766. Feel free to comment, like, or subscribe down below. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.